The first golden rays of dawn spilled over the rolling hills, painting the vast savanna of the Serengeti. The wind rustled through the tall grass, creating a ceaseless symphony, punctuated by the lonely silhouettes of acacia trees against the deep blue sky. Here, life and death were two sides of the same coin, a brutal and perfect rule that had existed for millennia. In the lingering morning mist, a pregnant female hyena moved quietly, foraging for food. Her spotted coat blended into the dry grass, her steps light yet cautious. This was the most challenging period of her life, and every step was heavy with the hope of a future for her unborn cubs. Though often seen as a scavenger, the hyena was a skilled hunter, a formidable warrior of this land. But today, her sharp instincts were dulled by hunger and exhaustion. A shadow moved silently through the thick grass. It wasn't a lion, nor a leopard, but a foe from the depths of silence, a massive African rock python. It lay coiled like a colossal rope, waiting. Its dark, shimmering eyes followed the hyena's every move. The unsuspecting hyena was just a few feet away, completely unaware that her fate was about to be sealed. In a terrifying instant, the python struck with incredible speed. The first coil wrapped tightly around the hyena's body, cutting off her resistance. Her breath became labored, her angry growls stifled into a sound of pure desperation. She struggled with all her might, but the python's power was unyielding. At that very moment, 3 male lions, the kings of this land, arrived. But there was no ferocious roar of a predator. Only hesitation, confusion. They watched from a distance. Despite being the hyena's sworn enemy, the giant python was an unfamiliar threat. The 3 male lions simply stood there, their tails flicking in unease. They had become unwilling spectators to a tragedy in progress. Amidst this, a dusty olive-green Jeep rolled along a dirt track, leaving a long trail of dust behind it. The driver was Bella, a park ranger who had been with the national park for over a decade. She loved this place, every blade of grass, every wild animal. For her, this was more than a job, it was her life. Today, her task was to patrol the area, but then, from a distance, an unusual sight caught her attention. Her binoculars brought the horrific scene into sharp focus. A giant python constricting a female hyena. And nearby, the 3 male lions stood by, showing no signs of intervention. Bella's heart pounded. She knew the rules of the Serengeti. This was nature. The python needed to eat, and the hyena was its prey. Staying out of it was the sensible thing to do. Intervening could be dangerous for her, potentially causing the python to attack her, or worse, agitating the male lions. But as Bella looked into the desperate eyes of the female hyena, as she saw her swollen belly, an overwhelming feeling surged within her. This wasn't just an animal. It was a mother about to be killed. The animal's maternal struggle touched Bella's heart to its core. She couldn't just stand by. Despite her mind warning her of the danger, she made a reckless decision. She would intervene. Having decided to act, Bella was faced with a nearly impossible task. She did not rush in blindly. She approached cautiously, every step calculated. She parked her Jeep at a safe distance, far enough not to startle the python or the lions. She took out a long wooden stick, a simple tool used for checking traps, but now the only thing she had to confront a massive predator. The stick felt light and flimsy in her hands. It was the only thing connecting her to a fighting chance. Bella moved closer, the distance between her and death now just a few feet. She could hear the faint, gurgling gasp of the female hyena and the subtle movements of the python's coils as it shifted. She closed her eyes for a brief moment, concentrating all her focus. It's not about fighting, it's about distracting, she told herself. This was not an attack to wound, but an act of disruption to create an opportunity. With a sudden, sharp yell, Bella charged toward the python. She didn't aim for the constricting coils, but for its tail. The strike was firm and precise, not enough to injure the animal, but enough to startle it. For a fraction of a second, the python loosened its grip to turn its head, searching for this new foe. That tiny window of time was all the pregnant hyena needed. The hyena, guided by pure instinct, used all her remaining strength in one final struggle. She pushed herself free from the python's embrace, stumbling to her feet with deep marks on her body. Having lost its meal, the python turned its fury on Bella. It began to slither toward her. Bella backed away decisively, but maintained an incredible calm. She didn't swing the stick again. Her action was complete. The hyena was free. Now it was time for her to retreat to safety. While the python was disoriented by the attack, Bella ran toward her jeep, turning her back on the three male lions who had watched the entire event unfold. She had risked everything, but she had succeeded. The female hyena lay under the acacia tree, her breath still weak, her body crisscrossed with wounds. Bella knew that even though she had escaped the python, she needed immediate medical care, especially while pregnant. Determined to protect this fragile life, Bella approached the hyena gently. With patience and a soft voice, she tried to calm the frightened animal. After a while, seeming to sense Bella's sincerity and lack of harmful intent, the hyena allowed her to examine its wounds. Bella noticed the serious constriction marks, but no signs of broken bones. However, its pregnancy meant all risks had to be minimized. Bella decided she couldn't leave it alone in the wild. With careful assistance, Bella helped the hyena into her jeep. She drove slowly, avoiding bumps that could injure the animal. On the way to the small rescue center on the edge of the national park, Bella talked to the hyena, a strange connection forming between human and animal in this special moment. At the rescue center, veterinarians quickly examined the hyena. They cleaned and bandaged its wounds and closely monitored its health. Bella spent a lot of time by its side, providing it with peace and a sense of security. She understood that anxiety and stress could affect the pregnancy. In the days that followed, Bella and the rescue team cared for the hyena with dedication. They provided nutritious food, monitored its health daily, and created a quiet environment for it to rest. As time passed, the hyena's health recovered, and its belly grew larger, signaling new life was on its way. Finally, the magical moment arrived. On a moonlit night, the female hyena gave birth to 2 healthy cubs in the safe area of the rescue center. Bella stayed up all night, watching the birth, and unable to hide her joy at seeing the tiny cubs nestled beside their mother. After many weeks of care and full recovery, it was time for the hyena family to return to their true home, the vast savanna of the Serengeti. Bella and the rescue team chose a safe area with abundant food sources and minimal risk from other predators. In a spacious and comfortable transport crate, the hyena mother and her cubs were taken back to where they belonged. When the crate door opened, the mother hesitated for a moment. Then, with a soft call, she led her 2 small cubs outside. They timidly explored their surroundings, breathing the familiar air of freedom. Bella watched from a distance, her heart filled with joy and emotion. She had witnessed a miraculous journey, from a life-or-death moment to the birth of new lives, and now their safe return to the wild. It was the greatest reward for all her effort and compassion. Before leaving, Bella looked back at the hyena family as they slowly disappeared into the bushes. She knew that wildlife was still full of difficulties and challenges, but she also believed that their strong survival instincts and family bond would help them overcome any obstacles. The story of Bella and the hyena family became a small legend in the Serengeti National Park, a testament to how courage and compassion can create miracles, even changing the fate of small lives in this vast wilderness. It reminds us of the deep connection between humans and nature, and our responsibility to protect life on this planet. As the sunset stained the Serengeti sky red, Bella smiled. She knew that somewhere on the endless savannas, a hyena family was safe, and that was her greatest happiness. Bella's story and the hyena family have left us with much to ponder. Her courage not only saved a life, but also lit a fire of hope. After listening to this story, what do you feel is most precious? Is it compassion that transcends all boundaries? Or is it a strong belief in a happy ending? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you also love such emotional and meaningful stories about the wild, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our next videos. Together, we can spread more positive messages and discover more of nature's wonders.